Hi folks and welcome to today's video. Why isn't your herniated disc rehab working? Avoid this common mistake. Now, a lot of people that are suffering with low back disc herniations go through the rehab principles, do various exercises, but they're still not getting better. They're still in pain. Sometimes they can become worse after these exercises. In today's video, I'm going to show you one of the most common mistakes people make, how to avoid it, how to improve, and how to get yourself back on the road to pain-free recovery. So without further ado, let's get into today's video. So folks, today I'm going to talk about avoiding one of the most common mistakes, which is holding you back from recovering from a lumbar herniated disc. If you've got a cervical or thoracic herniated disc, this also applies. It actually applies to a lot of rehab, but specifically today, I'll be talking about for folks who are doing exercises focused on lumbar disc herniation recovery, okay? Now, I do help a lot of people recover from their low back pain issues, sciatica nerve pain, herniated discs, bulging discs, lumbar stenosis, lumbar arthritis. If that is you out there, then subscribe to my channel. I do content every week, I do emails, I do free discovery calls, where I try to get people back on the road to recovery with my advice. I've helped a lot of people all around the world get back to pain-free living, okay? But in today's video, we're going to jump into having a look at a common mistake people make in recovery, okay? And it's to do with exercises. So I'm going to show you an exercise, right? It's called the bird dog. You may know it, you may be doing it. And I'm going to show you two examples, and we're going to see which one is correct and which one is incorrect and could be hindering your progress. Okay, so I'm going to get into it. I'm going to show you the exercise one way and then another way. Okay, that's the first way. Now have a look at the second way. Can you see a difference? Okay, the second one I was moving much faster. My limbs were moving faster, arm moving faster. Okay, in the first one, I was very controlled, focused. It's to do with what's called tempo. Okay, tempo is the speed that you're lifting at, speed that you're moving at. All right, let me give you another example. Okay, quite often I recommend people do what's called the split squat. Okay, so it's this: you split your feet like so, and you go up and down like so. Now I'm counting to myself in my head: 3, 2, 1. Little pause, push back up. 3, 2, 1. Pause. Push back up. Now compare that to if I don't really think about my tempo and I just bounce, get a bit wobbly, hard to control. Okay, can you see the difference there? Perhaps you've been given the dead bug. Okay, get another classic rehab exercise for low back issues. So I'm here, focus, opposite sides with control. So that's the correct form, the correct pace, the correct tempo. What I would call incorrect would be, okay, no control, too fast. You may be asking, well, why does it matter, Colin? What's the purpose? Okay, when you control the exercise, you brace everything, okay? You stabilize the muscles, you stabilize your pelvis, you stabilize your spine. You put the body in a good position to start, right? When I control the movement, very controlled, I am effectively working those muscles that I'm trying to strengthen. I'm not using momentum. Momentum is our enemy when it comes to rehab, okay? If I was an athlete trying to generate force, create a lot of torque, throw something, whatever, punch, kick, whatever, then I'm going to use momentum to my advantage. However, in this situation, when we're doing rehabilitation, we have to be controlled and focused, and you want to slow everything down, okay? So for most movements, I tell most of my clients, you want to make it like a 3-second down phase, okay? So if I'm doing, the bird dog, for example, right here, okay, it's not going down, it's going out, so it's going to be So 3, 2, 1, squeeze and hold, back with control. 3, 2, 1, squeeze, back with control. Because I can then achieve what's called the mind-muscle connection, where I can feel the muscles I'm working. They're getting that sort of co-contraction of stabilizing muscles, helping to stabilize this lumbar sacral region, which, if you read the research, that is what brings about the most benefits for most people, is when you stabilize this lumbar sacral region, that stabilizes the whole spine, takes stress off the in your disc, takes stress off that damaged nerve, and you get pain relief, okay? I could have given the best workout program, rehab program ever, but if my tempo's all over the place, if I'm not focused and controlled, then I'm not gonna get the true benefit of that program, okay? So you have to slow things down, right? Go back to the split squat. Could be a step up, could be a split squat, okay? You set yourself with the correct posture, for example, feet I want to be outside hip width, because if I'm too close together, then I'm an unstable base, right? I want to start in a good stable position, which means for me, both feet facing forward, back foot out, hip width or slightly wider. Both toes, sets of toes facing forward. Head up, chest up, arms for balance. Control, 3, 2, 1. Push. To make it harder, you can have a pause at the bottom. 3, 2, 1. Pause, push. All with a lot of control, really feeling those muscles working. I'm not bouncing off the ground. I'm not bouncing off the bottom, okay? Tempo is one of those things that I see in some of my clients. I see it in people, just regular people in the gym. They have no control of lifting, okay? But when it comes to the rehab work, especially because sometimes the exercise is like a bird dog, like the dead bug, for example, there's not a lot of load involved. So it just feels, I don't feel anything, I don't feel anything. Slow it down, focus. Don't forget to breathe during the exercise, right? Controlled movement, feel the muscles working, take a pause, like the bird dog, take a pause at the end perhaps, and then return, okay? Tempo is, in my opinion, underrated and overlooked when it comes to rehabilitation. So, guys, make sure you slow things down when you're doing your rehab workouts. If you've been suffering from pain during workouts, the workouts are just not getting you anywhere, it could be simply because you're doing them too fast, okay? It is one of those hardest things. If you just see a video on YouTube, you go away and do it yourself without any instruction, all right? So hopefully this video has helped you to understand why it is super, super important to slow things down, count that tempo, control what they call the eccentric phase of the exercise, use a pause, mind-muscle connection, think about what you're doing, okay? You may do less repetitions, but that's perfectly okay, all right? So guys, listen, hope this video has been useful to you. Don't forget to like, share, comment, of course, and subscribe. If you are suffering out there with your own low back pain issues, hit me up with a comment down below. I always answer all my comments, okay? If you want a bit more sort of personal one-to-one, I do offer a free advice call, 45 minutes an hour, where you can basically book a call with me. We jump on the call, and I try to give you some good advice to get you back on the road to pain-free recovery. All right, guys, take care. I'll see you next time.